Hi, Tim West here with Green Mountain IT Solutions, back with another video. If you have questions or you'd like to hire Green Mountain IT Solutions for a project, my contact information is in the description down below. Today we're going to talk about Microsoft SharePoint. SharePoint these days is part of Microsoft 365, formerly Office 365, but I find that not everyone knows what SharePoint is, and not everyone who uses 365 uses SharePoint or even knows that they have it. So let's take a look. What is SharePoint? SharePoint is a place to share things, including documents, informational articles, to-do lists. It's basically just a place to collaborate with people both inside and outside your organization. But really, seeing is believing, so let's take a look here at SharePoint. I'm going to head on over to portal.office.com. You should memorize this URL. That is the home page for 365. So just portal.office.com, open up my web browser, Google Chrome. And over here on the left are the links to the different components of 365. I'm going to click the green S for SharePoint. Now let's talk about the organization of SharePoint. SharePoint functions on what's called sites. So someone will say a SharePoint site, or I set up a SharePoint site for our project. And that is typically what I see a SharePoint site used for a specific project. So for example, I might have a site called Budget 2021 that I'm going to use for everyone in my company who's involved in the budgeting process to collaborate and share documents and things like that for the budget planning process. So you would use a SharePoint site for a specific project or function, typically. You can also use it kind of just as a file share. We'll get into that. A little later. So I have a few SharePoint sites in my 365 organization. I'm going to click here on the demonstration site that I've created. So here it is. You see, basically SharePoint is a small website that's for internal use. Now, this is the home page that we've landed on. The home page is going to show you a quick view of the various components of the SharePoint site. For example, here is a document library. A document library is just where you share documents, files, folders. It's file storage. Here's the planner, which has to-do lists. Down here is the news section, which you may or may not find useful, but here I can post kind of informational articles or announcements. Links section, okay. Activity, this is just showing things that have recently happened or been added or edited on the site. So that's the home page. Important to note that this is fully customizable and editable. If I were to click edit here, I could rearrange these different kind of widgets and add or remove them as I see fit. There are more possible functions that you could have in a SharePoint site besides these basic document library, planner, etc. But these are the most commonly used functions. So again, this is just a quick view of each component. Over here on the left, navigation, I can click to view the full subsection. For example, the document library, to view the files for the site, I'm going to click on Documents. And here's all the files and folders in this library. Similarly, if I click on the Plan section, I see my to-do list and things like that. Okay. Let's talk about sharing in SharePoint. Of course, the whole point of SharePoint is to share and collaborate with other people. These can be people inside your 365 organization or outside. A guest. I'm going to go ahead and add a guest here by clicking on the members section up top and add a member. Now to add a guest, it's telling me to add a guest, go to Outlook, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and add just my personal Gmail account just to sort of pretend that we're adding someone outside my company. Click on add members here, and I'm just going to type in my personal email address. Okay, and click add. Now note, that was a Gmail account, so it's not on 365, which is fine. The guest will still be able to collaborate with you without having 365. And I head on over and check my Gmail here, and I've received an email saying I've been added to the demo site group. Okay, I'm going to click on go to SharePoint. So this is what your guest would see when you add them to the site. Now I have a Microsoft account. You can make a Microsoft account for free. You don't have to buy 365. Okay. But I do have a Microsoft account already associated with that email. Let me just find the password for this in my password manager here. Alright, so I'm signed in, and now here we are. Now I'm browsing this site as the guest user. So this is what your guests, your collaborators, your partners will see. People outside the organization or inside. You can add them quite easily if they're inside your 365 company. Alright, so that's one type of sharing. Let me also show you the second type, which is that we can share from a document library. If we don't want them to be able to access all the files and folders, the to-do list, everything on the site, we can go ahead and share just a specific file or folders. Here's my test folder here. Got something in it, a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and click here, and now we're going to share just the test folder with our outside guest. Now click the option. I could share with people in my organization, but I'm going to click specific people. Note the option here for allow editing. If I wanted to, I could grant just a read-only access. My guest would be able to view but not edit or create new files. But I'm going to leave this on write access for now. Enter my personal email again. Pops right up. And let's send the invitation for the test folder. Again, we're sharing just this folder. Head back over to Gmail. Okay, and I've received another email. Tim West shared a folder with you. Let's click on open. And here it is. I've got the I've got the files in the test folder. So that's how we can share and collaborate with other people in SharePoint. Now let's take a closer look at a couple of the functions here. The document library is probably the most important component for most people in SharePoint. A lot of people, frankly, use just this and they stop right there. So this is a cloud storage. This is just like your Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. It's in fact related to OneDrive if you use that, but OneDrive is more appropriate for personal files that you're not sharing. SharePoint is to share stuff among multiple people. So just like your regular file storage, I can create a new, I can work online if I want to create a Word document or an Excel, something like that. It's going to set me up with the online version. Okay. Test Excel. I can also upload if I have files on my computer that I'd like to upload. Let's find just kind of any old thing here. It's a file that we can upload. And there I've uploaded just a simple text file. Okay. Now, probably my favorite feature of the document library in SharePoint is that I don't have to use this online website. If I have a 365 license and I've installed OneDrive on my computer, I can click the sync button here. Now it's telling me to open OneDrive, and now I'm going to sync the library with my computer. You are now syncing the demo site. So look here, when I open just the File Explorer on my PC, okay, click my organization name over here, Green Mountain IT Solutions. Now I got the demo site in here. And notice this is the same documents, the same document library, that I have online. Now I've synced the files to my computer, same as I would with a Dropbox, Google Drive, anything like that. And I can open this stuff right up. I can copy files back and forth, just as if this folder was actually on my computer instead of in the cloud. Your guests and your collaborators can do so as well. Including, if they have the entire library access, they can get the entire library. Anything you change in here, pretty instantly in my experience, they're going to see on their computer. Similarly, if you've shared with them just a folder, they can sync just that. Now the one catch here is that they do need to have a 365 account for this functionality, because they need to have the OneDrive set up, okay? Pretty easy to set up OneDrive. You just click this little icon down here, or click the Start menu and type in OneDrive. A lot of people already have it set up if you're using 365. Just notice here that I already have, this is something I use every day. Here's my main site. I use this business document site just kind of as a file share. This is my main share for my company's files, okay? So just a note there. The other functions of the SharePoint site that I like is the planner. You can have a to-do list, okay? Multiple to-do lists, notice even. So if I want to add a task, record video, I can set a due date, I can assign a specific person, all that good stuff. I can have multiple to-do lists here, plan budget or whatever. And manage my tasks here, check them off, all that good stuff you'd expect from a to-do list manager. You also have things like the notebook. This is going to open up in OneNote where you can share notes here. Okay, here's something, meeting minutes would be a note that I could create. Right? All that kind of good stuff. So there's multiple functions and widgets that you can use in the SharePoint site. Trying to see if we have everything covered here. That's about it. The last point that I just want to drive home is that this is a customizable experience. I can click edit here. I can add different sections. I could go wild. I could use just the documents if I wanted to have a basic experience. I could use all these features over here. I could really play around and explore. If you click edit, you're going to see, you can move all this stuff around and rearrange it. You can add sections. There's a number of, gotta add something here. It's showing me here's everything that I could add. All kinds of maps, a countdown, sort of to show when your project is due. GitHub if you're a coder or a web designer. All kinds of integrations and sort of cool stuff that we can add in here. A YouTube video, weather. Play around it, so you can really play around with this and make what you want of your SharePoint site and design it for a specific purpose. So a typical workflow that I'd see would be, again, to have a SharePoint site for a specific project or a specific purpose. Or if you're like me and you just want to use the file storage, you might create just one or two sites, or divide them up on topics and store just your documents in there. If you're doing this for a group or a departmental purpose, so what I mean by that, if you have an accounting department, you have a marketing department, right, a sales team, and you want them to have their own site, then we see down here it's telling us about Microsoft Teams, which is related to SharePoint but has some additional features like chat, video meetings, stuff like that. But that's another topic for another day. But just know, if you're thinking, well, I should create one of these, a SharePoint site for my department, or create a SharePoint site for my softball team, you might want to look into Teams instead for something like that. Okay? That's it. If you have any questions on SharePoint, you'd like to learn more, you want help setting up SharePoint for your organization, please do contact Green Mountain IT Solutions. Company's contact information is in the description down below. Or anything else tech related, any other projects, please do get in touch. All right. Thanks for watching.